China is vast, one of the largest countries on Earth, but its geography is not evenly useful. In fact, most of China's population lives in the eastern third of the country. Why? Because that's where the land allows life to thrive. Fertile plains, major rivers like the Yangtze and Yellow River, access to the sea, cities, trade, industry, everything is concentrated. Meanwhile, the West is a different world. High plateaus, deserts, mountains, harsh climates. Regions like Tibet and Xinjiang are enormous, but difficult to develop. This creates one of China's most important internal dynamics, a dense, powerful core and a vast, challenging periphery. That periphery is not just empty land, it is strategic, because it acts as a buffer, and buffers matter. To the southwest lies the Himalayas, the highest mountain range in the world, a natural barrier between China and India, almost impossible to cross at scale. And yet, not impossible to contest, because geography doesn't eliminate conflict, it shapes it. China and India have clashed along these high-altitude borders. Not massive wars, but tense confrontations, soldiers facing each other at extreme altitudes, because even a frozen mountain can become a front line. To the south of those mountains are smaller nations, Nepal and Bhutan. These countries sit between giants. Their geography makes them important, even if they are small. They are buffers. Influence over them matters, because they affect access, stability, and positioning. Further west, China borders Pakistan, a relationship that has grown strategically important, not because of culture or history alone, but because of geography. Pakistan provides China with access toward the Arabian Sea, through projects like the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, a way to reduce reliance on eastern maritime routes, because those routes are vulnerable, and we'll come back to that. To the north, China borders Russia, a massive frontier. But unlike many other borders, this one is relatively stable. Two large powers, with shared interests in balancing global influence. Here, geography creates distance, and distance reduces friction, but it also creates opportunity, energy, trade, strategic alignment. To the northeast, China meets the Korean Peninsula. North Korea sits between China and US-allied South Korea. This makes North Korea a buffer state. Its stability matters to China, not because of ideology alone, but because geography demands it. A collapse there would bring instability closer to China's borders, and potentially bring rival military presence even closer. Then there is the southeast, and this is where geography becomes even more complex, because here, China meets the sea, and the sea is not empty, it is crowded. Vietnam to the south, Philippines further out, Japan to the east, and between them, critical waterways, trade routes, and disputed zones. This is where China's greatest vulnerability lies, because while China is powerful on land, its access to the open ocean is constrained. The first island chain, a series of territories and allied nations that form a natural barrier. And at the center of this tension is Taiwan. Taiwan is not just a political issue, it is geographic. It sits directly along China's coastal axis. Controlling or influencing Taiwan would dramatically change China's strategic position. Without it, China remains partially contained. With it, its naval reach expands significantly. This is why Taiwan is often described as China's Achilles heel, not just politically, but geographically. And beyond Taiwan lie global chokepoints, routes through which energy flows and trade moves, and China depends heavily on them. Much of its energy imports pass through narrow maritime routes, which are far from its mainland, and vulnerable. This creates a strategic dilemma. How do you secure supply lines that are not under your direct control? China's answer has been multi-layered, investing in ports, building infrastructure across continents, expanding naval capabilities, and developing alternative routes. But geography still imposes limits. You've got Central Asia. To the northwest, countries like Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, and others. Less visible in global headlines, but important. They connect China to Europe by land, through rail, through energy pipelines, and through influence. China's global strategy shifted in 2013 when President Xi Jinping launched the Belt and Road Initiative, a vast network of infrastructure projects designed to reconnect Asia, Europe, and Africa through modern Silk Roads. On the surface, it was about trade, building railways, ports, highways, and pipelines. But underneath, it was a strategic move to solve China's biggest weakness, its dependence on vulnerable maritime routes controlled by rival powers, especially through chokepoints like the Strait of Hormuz and the Malacca Strait. By creating land corridors and alternative trade routes, China aimed to secure its supply chains, ensure energy access, and reduce reliance on routes it doesn't control. Today, over 140 countries have joined in some form, including key players like Pakistan, Indonesia, and several African and Central Asian nations. Projects like the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor give China direct access to the Arabian Sea, while ports and railways across Europe and Africa expand its global reach. But this initiative is not just economic, it's geopolitical. By financing and building critical infrastructure, China gains long-term influence over participating countries, embedding itself into their economies and decision-making. However, the risks are significant. China has invested massive sums in politically unstable regions, leading to stalled projects and growing debt concerns. Some countries have pushed back, warning of debt traps, where inability to repay loans leads to loss of strategic assets. At the same time, global powers, especially the United States, view the initiative with suspicion, seeing it as a quiet attempt to reshape global influence. In the end, the Belt and Road Initiative is China's way of turning infrastructure into power, expanding its reach not through military force, but through economic dependence. Again, geography shaping strategy. So when you look at China as a whole, you don't just see a country, you see a system, a core region that is dense and powerful, surrounded by layers of buffers, mountains, deserts, smaller states, and beyond that, a contested maritime environment. This creates both strength and pressure. Strength because China is hard to invade. Its core is protected. Distance, terrain, scale. But pressure because its expansion options are limited. Land routes are difficult. Sea routes are contested. Neighbors are complex. And global rivals are present. This is the paradox of China's geography. It protects, but it also constrains. And that's why China's strategy looks the way it does today. Focused on internal stability, securing borders, expanding influence without direct confrontation, and gradually increasing its ability to operate beyond its immediate region. Because it cannot escape its geography, but it can adapt to it. And that is what will define its future. Because great powers are not just built by ambition, they are shaped by what is possible and what is not. So the question is not just how powerful China can become, but how far its geography will allow it to go. What do you think? Is China's geography its greatest strength or its biggest limitation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoy deep strategic breakdowns of geopolitics and global power, make sure to subscribe.